What up, guys? Welcome to an Elevate podcast. Um, I wonder how this will go. I'm gonna just
It'll
kind
be
of start off with
great.
that. I just wonder how this will go. Anyway, my co-host here. Um,
Oh,
you wanna introduce yourself?
Sifa. Hi, guys. I'm Sifa.
How's life treating you?
Life is great.
Life is great.
Life is good. Very much living.
Living, living the dream life, or just living the life,
Living the American life.
the American life,
The American life.
the American dream, or the American life?
The American life.
Okay, not the dream.
The dream is way better than the life.
So you haven't got to the dream yet.
Getting there.
Oh,
I could say, probably 5 steps away
five
from
step away.
5 steps away from that dream.
You closer than everybody that I know.
One of a kind.
One of a kind. All right, so 2025, we in 2025. Probably this video is gonna air in February, so but who cares?
Pookies.
Probably. Well, you about to say Pookie. So what's up with the Pookie?
I don't know. It's a little slang that the Gen Z say it. And then it's just like, at first, I heard people say it. And it was just like, what is Pookie? Like, that's all you hear. Like, hey, Pookie, this and that. At first, it was kind of like, okay, all right, we get it. But then once it kind of gets onto you, it's just like, okay, it's kind of catchy. Instead
It
of like saying people's name, I was just like, hey, Pookie. And then it's just like,
sounds like something you say to to a little kid though.
yeah, but you could also say it to an adult. Like,
Right.
sometimes I could be like, hey, Pookie, hey, Twin and them, or stuff like that. Because it's just like, your mind doesn't really click to be like, to say their name unless it's like somebody that you just met right off the bat. But if it's like people that you've known for a while, you're kind of like, hey, Pookie.
I think my what is this? My dictionary for the slangs is it's you obviously. Pookie. What else? What else? What else? I think was that twinning them.
Twin
Twinning
and
them.
them.
Is it twinning them or twinning? Twinning them.
Twin and them.
Twinning them.
Yeah.
That's
It's
solid.
basically like twin and them.
And them.
But the when when it's written, it's just twin and them.
Okay. So I think let's get surgical with this. But I think what has been happening with like 2025.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Are you where you at right now with 2025 and how it is for you? How's 2025 treating you?
2025 is it's starting off great.
Starting off
It's
great.
starting off great. It's starting off great. I was kind of skeptical about it, I could say. Probably because 2024, I was kind of behind on where I wanted to be.
Okay.
So it was more of like my process in life and in just everything. It was more so a couple steps behind. So with 2025, I'm I'm there. I'm actually where I want to be at the pace that I want to be. So it's just like I can't say it's a bad thing or a good thing. I mean, most people are kind of ahead, most people are kind of like behind, but for me, I'm just like I'm going at the right pace. So it's just like, okay, 2025 is great for me because I'm not feeling like I'm way ahead of myself or I'm feeling like I'm not behind from myself. I just feel like
It's like at the right
at
place.
the right place. So it's just like I'm in the
Okay.
right path to where I don't have to feel like I'm rushing stuff that I need to do or just like having to rush myself.
Yeah, but you see, that's kind of like, don't you think that goes with like 2025 being the new year and we're in January? It's like everything new, kind of like that mindset of like 2025, new year, new me.
um, I'm not gonna lie. I used to be that from 2023 to 2024. Once that new year hit, it was kind of like, okay, new year, new me. And it's just like no progress. And then 2024 coming up, new year, new me, no progress. But I feel like when people kind of say that, it's like they want the new them to change, the new them to be into that new year.
Like magically.
magically appear without it being worked on.
Hmm.
So I couldn't, for me, I wouldn't really say new year, new me. I'm going to go into the new year, same me, but different mindset on how I do things or how I handle things. So I'm not going to be like, okay, let me go into 2025, new year, new me. You try to say that, and then it's just like you want things to magically appear and be like, okay, I have this in front of me, so I'm gonna just be the new me. But like, no, it really takes time and work. So I'd rather be like new year, different mindset, but on a whole different level. I don't want to be like new year, new me, and then but you have the same mindset, or like you're beneath and you're supposed to be. It doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't, yeah, because the transition between the old and the new, it takes time
It
to
takes time.
develop that. Okay, so with 2024, how was 2024?
um 2024, it had its moments, I can say that. You had the ups and the downs, and then you had the stages where you're like, it all feels like there's no point in trying, and then you have days where it's like, okay, I want to try more than I did yesterday. So I could say 2024 for me, it was a year of mixture. I had months where I was just like, I was motivated. I was ready to do stuff. And then, you have the next month where it's just like, I don't feel like doing this. I want to stay in bed all day. It was a kind of mixture for that. And I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm mad about it. I'm not mad about it. It's just like you learn new things when you're at your best and you're at your worst. You kind of realize how to do things. So 2024, it wasn't a bad year at all. It was cool. It was
It was cool.
cool. But 2025, I'm now just like, okay, you know what? I learned this from the past previous from last year. So in order to be better, let me think of it differently. Let me approach it from a different point of view, or just look at it from a whole different angle.
Yeah, like having a whole different perspective.
Yes.
So that perspective has changed basically
I
to how
could
you were looking at
say,
situations and
I mean, yeah, the perspectives, they have changed, but it depends, with, like, you could go through obstacles. Like 2024, I went through obstacles, and the point of view that I was looking at, it wasn't the point of view that was helping me. It was more of the point of view that was bringing me down. So I mean, I can't predict and say that, okay, this year I might go through the same thing again. I know I'm not, because once you've gone through something, it's a lesson. So it's just like you can't make yourself repeat the same mistakes, or like have the same mistake repeat. So I could say like 2025, I am looking at it from a different perspective, even though it won't happen, but it's kind of like I have it in mind to where, okay, last year I looked at it wrongly. This year I'm gonna look at it better, and I'm going to grow instead of doing the same thing that I did last year and not have any progress from it.
okay. So it's like the change of perspective
Hmm.
allows you to make
Different,
decisions
yes.
that basically ultimately elevate you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Cause it's like, I don't know. It's just like your mind. You gotta realize, like, your mind. It kind of does. It's kind of like a mind game. You're kind of figuring things out. So it's just like you're observing on everything. It's more so of like, it's like a Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
You're switching to make sure you're getting all the right colors.
Hmm.
So it's just like it's twitching your mind,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it is. Like, that's kind of how your mind is. It's like a Rubik's cube. You gotta switch it, turn sides, just to get to the right
To the right
colors.
colors that you
Yeah,
want.
so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I did this, it didn't work out. So now I got to do something different until you get the right color to make it be great.
Do you think you're gonna ever get to that point where everything is in alignment?
Yes. I honestly, that is one thing, like, I actually want, I could say right now, a Rubik's cube is difficult to solve. So I could say from that angle, I could say like I'm about could say let's I'm gonna give it like a good guess on where I am right now. I could say like 50-55%. 50
50-55%
55%
to that completion.
to that complexion, yes, to the completion of it.
Okay.
So it's a lot,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like it's really your mind, because you yourself, you know your mind. So it's just like you got to know, okay, I'm at this stage, or like I'm in between, or like I'm almost halfway there, or I'm already there.
Pookie. That's because I was just thinking about it. Like when you say,
It's catchy. It's catchy. Yeah, it's really catchy.
yeah. Now I think with the progressions of like thought development,
Hmm.
um, and also just having a different perspective when it comes to different situations,
Yeah.
um, entering into 2025, you said like your perspective has changed into, let's say, the same situations that you could have seen one way negatively, now you're gonna see it positively, basically,
Yeah.
or in that sense. So my question is the situation changing entirely, or is just the perspective that is changing? Like which one of that? Is it your mind that is viewing it differently, or is just the situations that is gradually changing and getting better?
Um, a situation does not last that long unless you make it last long.
Yeah.
So
Well, okay, question. If the situation doesn't last long unless you make it last long, is that a mind game, or is it just
that is a mind game.
that's a mind
That
game?
is a mind game.
Because you can get traumatized by something that happens to you
Hmm.
and it continues to happen in your mind, but it's already passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like you could go through something so traumatizing that you kind of live it up. You live to it every single day, but it's just like you want to be able to not think about it.
Yeah.
But if it you get traumatized to the point where it's in your mind, and it's just like, some people kind of go through something so traumatizing, they lose sleep, they lose appetite, everything, all of that stuff. That it's more so of like in your mind. So it's like you could go through something physically, but if it also gets to you in your mind, it sticks up there until you're in the stage where you want to let go, or like you're healing and stuff,
Hmm.
when you get into that stage. So a situation, it can change. It can change. But when I say like a situation doesn't last long unless you make it last long, it's kind of it more reflects on you, your mind and your personality. So if you're a person that is like, I want to stay miserable and stuff like that, that's, your words speak
Well, who want to
action.
stay miserable though?
Nobody would want to stay miserable.
Come on.
But it's more so of like, you kind of, you don't want to see the better outcome of it,
Yeah.
you
Or
could
maybe
see
you
it,
are incapable of viewing the better outcome of
the
it.
better outcome, because you'll see people that kind of go through something so traumatizing, and then you have people that are out there that want to help them, people close to them, but it's more so of like they see it negatively, they don't see the positive in the people helping them. So it's just like you're pushing your help away instead of allowing somebody to. I get it, you're traumatized and you just like, if I let this person in, it kind of comes with trust. It kind of comes with trust. So it's just, but yet again, you got to realize your mind, it sometimes plays like, tricks on you. You could think of a scenario in your head that never happened at all. You could have a conversation with somebody, and then you think, that conversation, your mind kind of pushes you way over to think, okay, maybe they were thinking this, maybe they were thinking that, something negative.
Yeah.
Your mind could push you to think, anything. So it's just like, if you're more so in your head, it's just like you're able to think anything that is negative. Sometimes you could think positive, but negative is always going to squeeze its way in. You got to realize that when you're in your mind, negative is always going to find its way to enter.
Do you think loneliness is a gateway for that sometimes, since
Yeah.
being alone a lot, or just loneliness itself?
Um you don't really have to be alone, or like just
Or
you,
feeling
or
lonely.
feeling lonely.
Yeah.
Like you don't really like, you could feel lonely, but it won't be too negative. You know, you could have thoughts here and there, but it's not going to be the same when you're more when you push it towards your mind. Like, you know, when you're like, you could be here by yourself and you're just like, okay, you know what, I'm by myself. But then your mind is like, okay, you're by yourself because this and that, people don't like you, this and that, you're hard to deal with. You know, that's the overthinking. That's the
You're getting
overthinking.
surgical with it.
That's the overthinking part. But see, one thing you got to realize about overthinking, it's not true. It is not
What
true.
if it is true?
Okay, there some parts.
Yeah.
Some parts it is true.
I mean, you can overthink situations of every possible angle within a situation.
You can.
And then some of those possible angles could be true in terms of like the outcomes that could possibly lead, that could, you know, manifest. But like, would you say like you're an overthinker when it comes to situations?
I would be lying if I said no. I would be lying if I said no, you know. But to me personally, it depends on the situation. If it's a minor situation, I'm gonna tell myself there's no need to really overthink about it because it's something so small that I'm able to handle and not put my mind too much to where it's like I'm losing myself, you know, I can't even think correctly. But if it's something so big, yeah, I'm definitely, you're gonna have to overthink because it's just like, okay, you're like, okay, what am I gonna do? And you have these thoughts in your mind where it's just like it's making things more difficult. It makes the problem seem bigger than it is. That's one thing about overthinking. You know, even if you overthink in a small problem, your mind will make it seem like it's so big,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, okay, I can't handle this, you know, I can't do this. That's where overthinking kind of comes into where it's just like it's pushing you to think that you can't really solve anything or actually do it.
To what point does that overthinking become like depression?
um I can say it kind of becomes depression when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I can't do this, I don't see the point in life, or like, you know, when you say words like that, words like that
When you
are
say it or
considered.
think it?
No, when you, yeah, even you see, you can think it in your mind
Mm-hmm.
and also say it out loud. So I actually seen this video where this girl was with her friend, and her friend didn't know that she was going through a lot. So she would talk to her friend, but you know, when somebody zooms out, they zoom out and they're not there. So whatever you said, they can't even hear you.
Mm-hmm.
So the friend noticed that like a couple of times, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm good." You know, they're like, "Okay, I don't want to spill my problems on people, so I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry
that like
about
the
me." Yes,
typical
stuff like
okay,
that.
yeah.
The typical, yes, I'm okay. But it's like she's zooming out again, and she realized that her friend is zooming out, so she's just watching her. She didn't even tap her on the shoulder to get her out. And then it's just like the friend is just so zoomed out that, you know, her thoughts, they're clicking to her. And then she's like, I don't see the point in life. That's when her friend tapped her around and she was just like, hey, you just said this. And, you know, I'm a bit concerned because I'm not sure what's going on, but that's unusual of you. You know, that's something you would never say. So it's overthinking is just not in your mind. You could think it and you could also say it.
Yeah, it's like because you think too much and like
You
because
think too
everything
much,
everything you
yes.
speak is usually coming from your
It's coming
thoughts.
from your mind. So you're
So
kind of like, you're just sitting there, you're zoomed out, and you're like, I don't think I see the point in life anymore. Honestly, it's kind of like, you know, people are like, okay, some people can say their thoughts out loud. I do it sometimes where I'm kind of like, I could say I need to do this and that, but I'm thinking it in my mind. And then when I'm sitting with a friend and then I start saying what I need to do, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, it's like I'm making the list in my mind. So, like, what you say comes from your mind. So, if you're overthinking, you kind of say some of the things that you're overthinking. So, yeah.
it's yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I see what you mean. I see it like, cause when it comes to overthinking, sometimes I see it as a positive. like a change of perspective. Okay, so
You can,
let's
actually, you can.
categorize everything as change of perspective. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like change of perspective, for example, like if you like, let's say for example, with the business like our work. So let's say something a customer, uh, something happens that allows me to step in and try to fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get home and I think about the situations, right? Usually I think about it, go to sleep. I mean, I think about it intensely, right? Go to sleep, go to the gym sometimes, go to sleep, wake up, and then somewhere along the line in my thoughts, I came up with a solution. And that solution is what I present the next day, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
overthinking. I would say it was overthinking, or maybe it's over analyzing the situation,
Mm-hmm.
but positively though. So it's not leading me to like, oh man, I'm so depressed, I can't sleep because
Yeah,
of this one
honestly,
problems that happen.
overthinking has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Everything has its pros and cons. So, but it also depends on the situation. You could be, I mean, you could be in the most depressing situation, but you see the pro in it. You see the positive side in it. But it all depends on how your mind is developed. If your mind is developed to see negatively, that is all you're going to see. But
Yeah.
if your mind, it's like, you know what, I don't want to always think negative. Let me split it. Let me put 50-50. Even though in your mind it's never 50-50, but you have to be like, if your mind is just okay, you think something bad, you think like, okay, you know what? The reason why I'm never lucky is because of this and that. Then your words are manifesting itself. You
Yeah.
got to realize that your words kind of manifest itself. So if you're like, I'm going to be a sad person, trust and believe you're going to be a sad person. But if you're like, you know what, I'm a sad person only when I go through hard times,
Hmm.
but after those hard times, I'm a happy person. You realize that okay, you're only sad because you go through difficult situations. But after those difficult situations have passed, you're a happy person, you're a regular person. So your mind, it's it's really a game.
Yeah.
So it's more of like you gotta really decide how you want to look at it. If you want to look at it negative,
Yeah.
but if you want to look at it positive, it grows you. Either way, it's going to grow you. You gotta like be able to develop your mind. You have to be like, okay, I want to grow. I don't want to stay minimized.
Hmm.
So you're like, you know what, I want to expand. You could expand yourself even if you're in a negative situation. You won't really even have to look at it from negativity. You could see the positive stuff in it, but that's only if you expand your mind
Yeah.
to think more than so
Think more,
little.
think behind it.
Think behind it. Yeah, think behind it.
Beyond it.
Think more, think behind it. It
Beyond.
it all it's all, up there.
Yeah. I mean, now we're getting surgical with it. I think that's my new word,
It
surgical.
is. It is. I've heard that so many
I think
times.
it's dope.
It's gonna stick.
It's,
It's
it's dope. The last word was what? Nostalgia. It's giving
nostalgia.
nostalgia.
Yeah, it's giving nostalgia.
Now it's surgical.
Surgical.
Surgical sound dope.
It's giving surgical.
So what's up with the? It's giving surgical. What?
It's giving surgical.
Nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah. That's
It
not clicking. That's
it's
not
it's
clicking.
clicking.
No, it's not. It's giving.
It's gonna
It's
click.
giving surgical.
It's giving no nostalgia. It's gonna click. It's gonna click. Once you say it a couple of times, it'll get there.
Right,
It'll
right.
have its own
I feel
spice.
like you're like the type of person who just create your own words sometimes. I mean, not your own words, but your own sentence. I mean,
I
you
do
weren't
create my
creating.
own sentence. I
Yeah,
create my own words. I'm telling you,
like peekaboo. Is it?
peekaboo.
Or is
It's
it peekaboo?
pookie.
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 Well, see, it comes from the word peekaboo,
Yeah,
though, innit?
peekaboo, but
Peekaboo. What's peekaboo mean anyway? Um.
peekaboo.
Oh, peekaboo.
Surprise. It's kind of like
Peekaboo.
surprise, but like, you kind of peekaboo. Some people do it to like scare a person or something like that.
Peekaboo.
Yeah.
Sounds surgical. That's just the new word.
It sounds surgical.
Yeah, that's just the new word. Anyway, what's up with the drift? With the sweater. Hey love.
Sweater. The sweater is actually a customized sweater from Below's Enterprise.
Oh,
Y'all
right.
should check them out. They have really great
Wait,
quality
is
sweaters.
that your business?
No, it's actually a friend's business. I
Oh.
have my own Pale Papa Cafe,
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, is chapati,
Stop
and I
lying.
make the
Stop
best.
lying.
I make
You
the
make
best.
the best
I
chapati.
make the best.
No, no, no. Okay, let's not say that your favorite food is chapati.
It is
Because I don't
actually.
think your favorite food is
It
chapati.
is.
No, I've never seen you eat chapati. You make it, but
I
I've never
make
seen
it
you eat
and
it.
I eat it. I'm a picky eater,
When it
but
comes to chapati, you're not a picky eater.
when it comes to chapati, I'm not a picky eater. I'm always gonna eat it.
Nah,
It's kind of my
I've
favorite.
yeah. Now that I think about it, I've never seen you make chapati.
I do.
That's weird. But your favorite food is chapati.
Yeah.
Did you see the video on Instagram where this girl asked the guy, "What's your favorite food?" and he was like, "Chapati, chapati." Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I seen it,
Yeah,
and
it
I was
was a
just
real
like, I
chapati,
was like,
chapati.
there's no chapati lover out there that I have met. It's apart from a friend of mine who likes to eat chapati a lot, and that's the host over here. I
I
haven't
mean,
met a person like that.
no,
So,
wait. What?
well, okay, I've met you. I've met you,
Nah,
but I feel
there's.
like out of the world, there's somebody that could eat more than you.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, even in this house, I'm sure someone can eat more than me when it comes to chapati. But I mean, chapati is just the best. You can
It
never
is
go
the
wrong with
best.
chapati. So, um, what's new? What's new? What's happening right now? What's happening with you? After finishing getting surgical with all the conversation, I feel like this we should just title this surgical conversation or something.
Those
I don't know where it came from
be
today.
like, hey Pookie, it's getting surgical.
Yeah.
See
It's
that makes sense. You see, it's catchy. It's catchy.
hey Pookie is getting
Hey
surgery.
Pookie, it's getting surgical.
I hope I don't hear this for the next few days. I hope I don't.
Wait, no, I gotta write that in my notes. Hey
Hey
Pookie,
Pookie
it's
is getting
getting surgical.
surgical.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. Yes.
How's your writing going?
Writing. I stopped for well, I can't say I stopped for a while. Right now I still haven't wrote, but like the last time I wrote was like last year.
Last year.
Last year.
That's like what 15 days ago.
It was last year, but months before the new year started.
Oh.
It's like you could have so much to write, but yet again,
You feel lazy to write it?
no, it's not that you feel lazy, but you're not when you kind of get like a pen and paper or like
You
even
don't
in
do it
you.
with your phone?
I do with my phone, but it's just like when I'm about to start typing, my mind kind of just it's just like okay, why do I need to write this down? I'm not gonna ever read it again. I'm not gonna publish it. So I stop myself and I'm just like, you know what?
I thought I convinced you to. I thought I gave you the answer for
Yeah,
that.
you did convince me. It's kind of crazy, I the one time where I stopped myself, I was just like, Justin would have just been like, wow,
Yeah.
doesn't sound like Sifa, But then again, it was just like, man, half of this stuff I don't really share my notes with anybody.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's the
I've
point.
shared a couple with you, but it's just like then again,
I
I'm
think
just
that's the
like,
point though. Like when you write, I think that's the point.
but I'm never gonna open it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point too. That's also the point, because I feel like when you write, you let it out. It's like
Uh-huh.
having a conversation with someone, right?
Yeah.
You let it out. You get surgical with the pen, and then you just let it out, and you don't have to revisit it. And you know what's crazy? There's certain season within your life, right?
Yeah.
Where you would want to know exactly, like, let's say for example, you know how a song comes on and you remember a moment or a memory in the past that resonate with that song, and you
Yeah.
start remembering the moment. There's some times where something would happen and then you would be like, okay, I want to know exactly what I was thinking around that time. And you're not very technical with your thoughts, so you just go back right, and you read the thing that you wrote at that time. And I feel like it just get better. Like, you was like, oh, this was actually what was going on at that time. And speaking about perspective, right? Speaking about perspective. So let's say, for example, a couple years from now,
Yeah.
with the situations that happened in 2024, right? Let's say you wrote it down, right? And everything that happened, you wrote it down, and you change your perspective right now at this
Yeah.
time in your life, you wrote it down too. couple years from now, you're like, okay, I want to know, like, I want to get to the full qubit completion,
Mhm.
and you want to know exactly what was going on in your mind at this time
You
and
want to
at
do a
that time.
recap.
Yeah, you want to do a recap because let's say something happened in the future that can resonate with that, and you want to know what were you thinking to get the answer for it. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That
Yeah,
is.
and then you get in part because
See, it's
sometimes,
making sense.
yeah,
It's
it's
making.
making because like sometimes I feel like things that happen in our life are in part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, you can have a dream that is part one today, and you have a dream part two 5 years from now.
Episodes,
If you
yeah.
wrote it down, it's like a whole episode. It's like, oh shoot,
A whole
now we're
series of
getting
life.
surgical with this. That whole series of life, in parts. So
Yeah, that is true. Writing kind of lets, well, not kind of, but writing helps you, put out the emotions that you can't really tell to
he also
anybody.
helped communicate.
It does help communicate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like writing, it helps you express yourself. I could say that there are times where I was going through something drastic or just something sad to where it was difficult to communicate at that moment. So it was more better for me to just write it down in my notes.
Mm.
But even if I wrote it down in my notes, it was more so of like I'm confessing to myself than the person that needs to hear it. But either way, even if that person needed to hear it, it would have been late because, by the time you kind of your mind reclicks to it, it's gonna be like, okay, a couple of years from then or a couple even months after the whole thing has happened. So writing, there's nothing wrong with writing. I love writing, and
Right.
it helps me kind of generate my mind a little bit, if I feel like I'm not able to speak what I have on mind or just what my heart carries, if I'm not able to let it out to where I feel like I'm weak of speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I write it down so that it's there.
Yeah.
It's there to where it's kind of like, okay, you know what? If I feel like I want to express myself, on a certain situation, it's just like, okay, I have my notes, kind of that spoke my whole entire mind instead of having to feel blank and empty to where it's just like I don't know what to say, but it's there to where I'm just like, okay, you know what? Hey, this so and so, that so and so, or like even the happy moments, like you could have something great happen to you and you have nobody to tell it to.
Yeah.
So you're just like, you know what? Let me write this down in my notes. Let me write this down in my notes.
I mean, I would say right more happy moment than sad moment
Yeah, that is true, but it's
because
better.
like,
It's better to
or you can balance it out,
yeah, it's better to
or
balance
or
it
you can just
out.
write everything.
It I like to balance it out. I don't want to have way too many happy moments. I mean, being happy, it is good. But then again, you have to be able to express yourself. You don't have to lie to yourself and just be like, yeah, I'm a happy person all the time.
Yeah.
Not everybody's happy all the time. You always go through something that's going to make you sad or just make you feel any other emotion that isn't happy or excited. So it's always good to kind of balance out your emotions. There's people that are like, okay, I've never been sad. I've never cried in my life. And, sometimes I'm like, I'm like,
Who's never been sad?
should I be worried? I'm like, I'm sorry. Should I say congratulations? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what am I supposed to say because it's just like, it's better that you feel all the emotions instead of just feeling one singular emotion. So then it's just like when you go through something, you're not sure what to feel
Mm,
apart from being happy.
dang, you getting surgical with this. We're gonna need you. We're gonna need you for the second episode too coming up. You coming too, right? For
Yeah,
the next coming, like you're
of
gonna be a
course,
regular guest, right?
of course, Pookies, I'll be here. I feel like
Pookies.
the next time I be here, me and Justin will switch seats.
What you gonna be asking me? Why you guys
Yes.
keep wanting to ask me
Because
questions?
I feel like you gotta expend, you gotta expand your
You
mind.
talking
And
about me?
yes,
I
and I
think I'm.
feel like
I'm.
I
I
feel
think I'm
like
the most expendable person.
but I feel like if I sit there and question your mind, every answer would be different.
What do you mean? Like I won't be consistent with my thought process, or
No, it's just
will it
like,
just be different?
your answers will be different, you know.
From your answer or from my answer?
From every single interview that I've watched, I feel like, you know, you have like some answers where they kind of hit with the other one, and then it's just like, I don't think he noticed, you
Oh, for
know.
real?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
just like, I feel like your answers will kind of be different, or it's just like you'll see it at a different perspective.
Yeah, different perspective, a higher level, higher plane, elevate podcast. Here we go. Let me ask you this question. Out of all the, out of all the, out of all the royal family, dead or alive, right? That you would want to meet, which one would it be? Royal families, dead or alive, which one would it be?
It was crazy. I really don't know any royal families. I don't know any royal families.
Queen Elizabeth, that's a royal family. The Nigerians, kings and queens.
I would like to meet Queen Elizabeth for sure.
The Saudis.
But I would rather meet.
In the Bible too.
Okay, see, that makes
Bro, I mean, history.
that's a mind.
History.
See, now
So
that
you
kind
were
of tricks
like,
that kind of tricks the mind, because I got to start thinking history now.
like you were like thinking of like we ain't even talking about. What were you thinking though?
I'm
Like,
thinking.
when I
I'm
asked that
trying to.
question.
I'm trying to think of like all the royal families, because I'm not. Apart from Queen, you said, you know, when you said Queen Elizabeth, that clicked my mind. I was like, okay, Queen
So
Elizabeth was the royal family, but apart from that, I really don't know any of the other.
okay, so you don't. So no royal family. You won't meet any royal family.
No,
No.
like
What's your final answer?
I guess Queen Elizabeth, because you know that hit to mind. I
That's
don't.
lame.
Yeah, I really don't know
That's
any other
lame.
one.
I got an answer to that.
Who?
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
That is true. That is true.
How did you
No,
not think
that
of that?
see, that's a mind. See, that's a question to trick the mind.
Yeah, that was a
That's a
tricky
question. Because
question.
when you asked me, my mind was so blank. I was like,
Like you could have said Solomon. You could have said David. You could have said
that didn't hit the mind. It didn't even come to mind at all. It didn't
um
even come to mind at all. That's the crazy part.
yeah, but that's the yeah. So that was a tricky question. That was
It was a tricky question because I didn't know none of that.
okay. Dead or alive? Which person would you like to meet? Famous.
Michael Jackson.
You would like to meet Michael Jackson?
Yes.
Wow. It's the most random.
Like I used to be obsessed with Michael Jackson when I was a kid, especially that song.
Beat it.
No, Heal the World, Thriller, and Beat It. Those were
Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Those were like my top 3 songs. Top 3 songs. I used to be obsessed. Like literally, I could lyrics for lyrics. So it's just like
Well,
I don't know. I would want to meet
you
him.
know them now. The lyrics.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
No. My mind right now my mind is not on lyrics, you know.
Right.
So it's like I gotta remember.
So Michael
and
Jackson,
then
dead
come
or
back.
alive?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Dead or alive?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. See, that's the question you're gonna ask me when you ever get to this seat. Like if you ever get to this seat, you're gonna ask me that question. Anyway, do you want to talk about your restaurant? Or are you gonna do that later when we go global?
That's gonna come in when we are getting ready to launch the website.
Getting ready to launch the
Yeah,
website.
getting ready to launch.
I feel like the website has been launched a long time ago. It's just getting ready for it to be actually launched, right?
The website, I can't say like it's done.
Yeah.
But I haven't published it.
All right. So we're gonna dedicate an episode for the launching of Papa Pele. Is it Papa Pele?
It's Pale Papa Cafe.
Pele Papa Pele. I was close.
Pale Papa Cafe.
Pale Papa Cafe.
You could find us on Instagram. located in Kansas City, Missouri. We are open to catering, so feel free to hit us up for any catering events. But yeah, that's another episode. That's the episode where we talk about the founders. How it started, everything. You get to know all the good stuff,
All the good stuff.
all the good stuff
All
about
the
it.
chapati.
You get to order chapati, this guy's favorite. All the good
I
African
just love
snacks.
chapati, so you can never go wrong with
You can
chapati.
never go wrong with chapati.
Even the Indian chapati that is like different from like the one you make, the one my mom make, the one I make, it's still good. It's just chapati. Even the one from like the street where someone just like
Yeah,
make it in a bus truck, it's still good. Like there's never
you
you
call
can
them
never
bus
go wrong.
trucks. I call them food trucks.
Yeah, you probably has the better vocabulary on it than I do. So
I like bus trucks. I've never heard nobody say.
anyway, just let's get I'm gonna just conclude this. Anything you got to say to our fan or to the people of Elevate Podcast before we conclude?
Um, it was great being on here. I like this. This is great. This is cool
It's dope,
vibes.
huh? It's dope, right?
Cool
It
vibe.
just
Yeah.
took me a minute to get you here. So I
It,
mean,
it it's been a minute for a fact.
yeah,
It's
it
getting
just took.
surgical out here.
Yeah. All right.
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
write in the comments, hey Pookie, it's getting surgical.
Hey, Pookie, it's getting surgical. I might put that as a reel. It's gonna be out there.
No, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I like that.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. Appreciate you for being here. We're gonna have probably another episode with you on it. So and the twin as well.
Twinning him.
Twinning them as well. But guys, thank you so much. Subscribes and wait for more.
Be great.
Be great.